She was wiping someone else's floors when the tiny voice shattered her carefully built walls. Will you be my mother? And Naomi laughed, because what else could a woman with empty arms do but pretend it didn't rip her apart? Naomi's knees ached against the marble floor of the executive level. Fifth floor, always the hardest, the kind of pristine white that showed every streak, every imperfection. Like her life, she thought bitterly, wringing out her cloth into the bucket. 23 years of cleaning other people's messes. 23 years since... She stopped herself. The memory of small fingers curling around hers, a fever that wouldn't break, a hospital bill she couldn't pay. No, not today. Not ever. Excuse me? Naomi looked up. A little girl stood in the hallway, maybe 5 years old, with perfect French braids and a school uniform that probably cost more than Naomi's rent. Her eyes were swollen, red-rimmed. She'd been crying. Hi, sweetheart. You lost? Naomi's voice softened automatically. Children always did that to her, cracked the armor just enough to hurt. The girl shook her head, stepping closer. She studied Naomi with an intensity that made her uncomfortable. You smell like cookies. Naomi glanced at her cleaning supplies. That's probably the vanilla floor cleaner, baby. My mama smelled like cookies. The girl's lip trembled. Before she went to heaven. The words hung in the sterile air. Naomi's chest tightened. Across the city, Minjun Park stood before floor-to-ceiling windows, overlooking Seoul like a king surveying his kingdom. His reflection stared back. Sharp suit, sharper jaw, eyes that hadn't truly smiled in 3 years. His phone buzzed. The nanny. Again. Mr. Park, Hana ran away from me again. I found her, but she's asking for her mother. I don't know what to say anymore. Min's hand clenched around the phone. He'd built an empire, commanded thousands of employees, negotiated billion-dollar deals in 3 languages, but his 5-year-old daughter? She was the one thing he couldn't fix. Tell her I'll be home early, he lied, ending the call. He wouldn't be home early. He never was. Home meant Hana's sad eyes and questions he couldn't answer. Work meant control, distance, safety. Back on the 5th floor, Hana wiped her nose with her sleeve. Will you be my mother? The question hit Naomi like a physical blow. The little girl's eyes, so desperate, so achingly hopeful, mirrored the same longing Naomi had buried deep. What would you say if a lonely child asked you to be their parent? Drop your answer below. Let's talk about it. Naomi's laugh came out strangled, defensive. Sweetie, I can't be your mother. Why not? Hana's bottom lip quivered. You have kind eyes. Mama had kind eyes. The innocence in those words almost broke Naomi. She set down her cloth, sitting back on her heels to meet the child at eye level. Baby, your mama's in heaven, but your daddy doesn't see me. Hana's voice dropped to a whisper, like confessing a terrible secret. He looks at me, but he doesn't see me. Not like you're seeing me right now. Naomi's throat burned. She knew that feeling, being invisible, being a ghost in your own life. Okay, she heard herself say. The word escaped before logic could stop it. Okay, I'll be your mother. Hana's entire face transformed. Really? Sure, baby. When you see me cleaning, you come say hi to me. Deal? Naomi forced brightness into her voice, playing along with what she assumed was a game. A lonely child's fantasy. Tomorrow, the little girl would forget. She had no idea she'd just signed an invisible contract with fate. Hana threw her small arms around Naomi's neck, and for one devastating moment, Naomi let herself feel it. The weight of a child, the trust, the warmth. She closed her eyes and her daughter's face flashed behind her lids. Forever 3 years old, forever lost. Thank you, Hana whispered into her shoulder. Thank you, Mama. The word shattered something inside Naomi. She pulled back gently, blinking away tears. You better get back to whoever's watching you, sweetheart. They're probably worried. Miss Jennifer doesn't care. She's always on her phone. Hannah's matter-of-fact tone made it worse. Can I come see you tomorrow? I'm here every day at 4 p.m., Naomi said softly. Fifth floor. Hannah beamed, committing it to memory like a sacred promise. She squeezed Naomi's hand once more before running down the hallway, her Mary Janes clicking against marble. Naomi stayed kneeling on the floor long after the child disappeared. Her reflection stared back from the polished surface, a 41-year-old woman in a stained uniform who'd just agreed to play pretend mother to a stranger's child. She should have said no. She should have walked away. But women with empty arms rarely make logical choices when children ask them to stay. The next day, Naomi arrived at the Park Industries building, telling herself it was just a job. The little girl wouldn't come back. Children forgot. They moved on. She was wrong. At exactly 4:03 p.m., Hannah appeared, dragging a pink backpack and clutching a drawing. Mama, I made this for you. Naomi's heart stuttered. Other cleaners glanced over, curious. She quickly ushered Hannah into an empty conference room, glancing nervously down the hallway. Sweetheart, you can't call me that here. People will... Will what? Hannah's eyes went wide with fear. You said you'd be my mother. You promised. I know, baby. Naomi knelt down, trying to find words that wouldn't crush this child's hope, while protecting her own fragile heart. It's complicated. Daddy says that word when he means no. Hannah's voice went small. Do you mean no? Naomi looked at the drawing. 2 stick figures holding hands under a sun. One labeled Mama Naomi, the other Hannah. Her vision blurred. No, I don't mean no. Meanwhile, 3 floors above, Min sat in his corner office, reviewing contracts he'd already read twice. Concentration had become impossible lately. Hannah's nanny had reported something strange. His daughter was happy. Actually happy. Talking about someone named Naomi. He dismissed it. Probably an imaginary friend. Hannah had created several since her mother died. Invisible companions to fill the void he couldn't. His assistant buzzed in. Mr. Park, you have the Seoul Metropolitan merger meeting in 10 minutes. Cancel it. The words surprised even him. Sir? I'm going home early. For the first time in 8 months, Min left the office before sunset. But when he arrived at their penthouse, Hannah wasn't there. The nanny looked panicked. She insisted on staying at the building. She said her mother was waiting for her there. Min's blood went cold. Her mother is dead, Miss Jennifer. I know, sir, but she keeps talking about someone at the building. A cleaner, I think? She runs off every afternoon at 4 p.m. Min didn't wait for her to finish. He was already heading back to the elevator, his mind racing with worst-case scenarios. Who was this woman? And what did she want with his daughter? Min stormed through the 5th-floor corridor like a man possessed, his Armani shoes echoing with authority. He'd had security check the cameras. His daughter, his child, had been visiting some cleaner every day for a week. He found them in conference room 5B. Through the glass panel, he saw Hannah sitting cross-legged on the floor, laughing. And beside her, a black woman in a cleaning uniform was teaching her how to fold paper cranes, their heads bent together in concentration. The intimacy of it stopped him cold. Min burst through the door. Hannah! Both heads snapped up. Hannah's smile vanished. Daddy? Naomi scrambled to her feet, instantly reading the fury in this man's designer suit and clenched jaw. This had to be him, the father, and he looked ready to destroy her. Hannah, come here now. Min's voice was ice. But, Daddy, this is... now! Naomi's instinct was to run. She'd been in enough situations where powerful men made her life hell for less. But something in Hannah's terrified expression made her stand her ground. Sir, I can explain it. You can explain. Min's accent thickened with rage. Why you've been meeting secretly with my 5-year-old daughter? Do you have any idea how this looks? She asked me to... To what? Exploit her? Manipulate her for money? He stepped closer, and Naomi saw the fear beneath his anger. This was a terrified father. How much do you want to disappear? The accusation hit like a slap. Naomi's hands trembled. I don't want your money. Everyone wants money. Daddy, stop. Hana pushed between them, tears streaming. Mama Naomi isn't bad. She's good. She's the only one who listens to me. Min froze. What did you just call her? The silence was deafening. Hana looked at Naomi with desperate eyes. Tell him. Tell Daddy you're my mother now. Naomi wanted to disappear into the floor. Hana, sweetie. I asked her to be my mother, Hana sobbed, because you're never home and I'm so lonely, and she said yes, and she's nice, and she smells like cookies, and I need her, Daddy. I need her. The child's breakdown filled the room. Min stood paralyzed, watching his daughter fall apart in a stranger's arms. Because Naomi had dropped to her knees, pulling Hana close, whispering, Shh, baby, it's okay. I'm here. And Min realized with devastating clarity, he couldn't say the same. Min insisted they move to his private office. Hana had finally calmed down, now sitting on the leather sofa, exhausted. Naomi stood near the door, ready to bolt. Sit. It wasn't a request. Naomi sat, her uniform feeling more threadbare than ever against his luxury furniture. Min poured himself whiskey with shaking hands. Explain. Everything. From the beginning. So she did. The chance encounter. Hana's question. Her foolish agreement to play along. I thought it was just... I didn't think she'd come back. But she did. Every day. Naomi's voice cracked. And I should have stopped it. I know I should have, but what? She met his eyes. I lost my daughter 18 years ago. She was 3. Pneumonia. I couldn't afford the treatment. The words came out flat, rehearsed from years of therapy she could barely afford. I know what it's like to be the child left behind, and I saw that same look in Hana's eyes. Min's grip tightened on his glass. He said nothing. I'm not trying to replace her mother, Naomi continued. I could never. I didn't want her to feel invisible. She told you that? That she feels invisible? She didn't have to. Min turned away, staring out his window at the Seoul skyline. When he spoke, his voice was barely above a whisper. My wife died 3 years ago. Car accident. Hana was in the back seat. She survived without a scratch. He laughed bitterly. Physically, anyway. Naomi's heart cracked open. I thought throwing myself into work was protecting her, providing for her. But I was just running away from a 5-year-old who has her mother's eyes. He turned back, and Naomi saw tears he was fighting. You spent more time with my daughter in 1 week than I have in 6 months. The confession hung between them. Mr. Park. Min. My name is Min. Min, she said softly. Grief makes us do strange things, makes us hide from the people who need us most. Trust me, I know. Their eyes met. 2 broken people recognizing the same wounds. Here's a question for you. Have you ever run from something because facing it hurt too much? Let's talk about it in the comments. Hana stirred on the couch. Is Mama Naomi in trouble? They both looked at the child, then at each other. No, Min said finally. No, she's not. Min proposed something unexpected. Have dinner with us. Naomi blinked. What? Hana clearly needs you, and He ran a hand through his perfectly styled hair, making it messy for the first time. I need to understand what my daughter sees in you. It wasn't an insult. It was surrender. That's how Naomi found herself in the back of a Mercedes, still in her uniform, heading to the Park family penthouse. Hana chattered nonstop, holding Naomi's hand like she might vanish. The apartment was stunning. Floor-to-ceiling windows, minimalist furniture, and the kind of wealth that whispered instead of shouted. But it felt cold. unlived in. Hana, show Naomi your room while I order food, Min said, loosening his tie. Hana's bedroom was the only warm space in the apartment. Drawings covered the walls, stuffed animals everywhere, and on her nightstand, a photo of a beautiful Korean woman with Hana's smile. That's my first mama, Hana said matter-of-factly. She's watching from heaven. I tell her about you. Naomi's throat tightened. What do you tell her? That she doesn't have to worry anymore, that someone's taking care of me now. Tears threatened, but Naomi held them back. She pointed to a drawing of a starry night. Did you make this? Daddy helped. It was a good day. Hana's voice turned wistful. We don't have many good days. Over dinner, Korean fried chicken that Min ordered because Hana mentioned Naomi might like it. Something shifted. Min asked about her life, really asked where she was from, what she dreamed about before life got hard. I wanted to be a teacher, Naomi admitted. I love kids. But after my daughter died, I couldn't be around them without falling apart. So I cleaned buildings, easier to love spaces than people. Min nodded slowly. I understand that. Control the environment, avoid the emotions. Exactly. Hana fell asleep between them on the couch during a movie, her head on Naomi's lap, feet on her father's. They both froze, afraid to move and break the spell. Thank you, Min whispered across his daughter's sleeping form. For what? For seeing her. For being brave enough to stay when I kept running. Away. Naomi's hand rested on Hana's hair. Maybe we could both try staying. For the first time in 3 years, Min smiled. Really smiled. And Naomi felt something she thought had died with her daughter. Hope. The next week, everything imploded. Naomi arrived at work to find a formal letter waiting. Termination, effective immediately. Reason? Inappropriate relationship with executive family member. Her supervisor, Mrs. Cho, wouldn't meet her eyes. It's from corporate HR. I'm sorry, Naomi. Someone reported you. Min's office. Now. Naomi didn't care about protocol anymore. She rode the executive elevator up, her heart hammering with betrayal and rage. She burst through his door. You fired me? Min looked up, confused. What? Don't play dumb. I get terminated for inappropriate conduct, and you have nothing to do with it? Naomi, You got what you wanted, right? I'm out of your daughter's life. Out of your life? Back where I belong, cleaning toilets in buildings where I'll never accidentally contaminate your precious world. Stop. Min stood, genuine shock on his face. I didn't fire you. I would never. His office door opened. A woman in designer everything walked in. Min's sister-in-law, Hana's aunt. She'd been at the penthouse the day before, watching Naomi with barely concealed disgust. Oh, good, she got the letter, Su-min said coldly. Min, we need to talk about this situation. Naomi's stomach dropped. You did this. I protected my niece from a gold-digging opportunist, yes. Su-min turned to Min. Do you have any idea how this looks? A cleaning woman playing house with a billionaire's child? The press would destroy us. Destroy Hana. That's not what this is, Min said, his voice dangerously quiet. Isn't it? She shows up, plays mother for a few weeks, and suddenly you're inviting her into your home? Wake up, Min Jun. This woman is using Hana to get to you. To our family's money. That's not true, Naomi's voice shook. Then explain. Su-min pulled out her phone, showing photos. Why you've been researching Min's net worth. Why you suddenly need to be at the building every day exactly when Hana appears. The photos were real. Naomi's search history, screenshots someone had clearly hacked or stolen. But the context was wrong, twisted. I was trying to understand who Hana's father was, Naomi whispered. To protect her. To make sure I wasn't making things worse. Liar. Enough! Min's shout made them both flinch. Su-min, get out. Min, get out. She left, but not before saying, "Choose carefully, Min. That woman or your daughter's reputation." The door slammed. Min turned to Naomi, and the doubt in his eyes destroyed her. "Do you believe her?" Naomi asked. His silence was answer enough. Naomi left without another word. She refused to beg a man to believe her innocence. She'd survived worse than this, but she hadn't survived losing another child. For 3 days, she didn't return to the building. She picked up shifts at a hospital instead, scrubbing floors and trying not to think about a little girl with hopeful eyes asking, "Where's Mama Naomi?" Her phone buzzed constantly. Minister, she ignored every call. On the fourth day, someone knocked on her tiny apartment door. She opened it to find Hannah, tears streaming, holding Min's hand. "You're real," Hannah sobbed. "Daddy said maybe you were pretend, but you're real." Naomi's knees nearly buckled. She looked at Min, who looked like he hadn't slept in days. "She won't eat," he said quietly. "Won't speak. Just keeps drawing pictures of you and crying." He pulled out his phone, showing Naomi the search history screenshots. "I had my security team investigate. The photos were manipulated. Suman hired someone to fabricate evidence." Naomi's hand flew to her mouth. "She was afraid," Min continued, stepping closer, "that I was falling for you, that I was replacing her sister." He laughed bitterly. "She was half right." "What?" I am falling for you, Naomi." His voice cracked. "Not because you're replacing anyone, but because you're the first person in 3 years who made me want to be present. To be better. To actually live instead of just survive." Hannah pulled on Naomi's shirt. "Please come home, Mama. Please." "Sweetheart, Naomi looked at Min, terrified. "This is crazy. We barely know each other. Your family will never accept—" "I don't care." Min's intensity burned. "I've spent 3 years caring what everyone thinks, doing what's appropriate, being the perfect CEO, the perfect widower. And I've been miserable. My daughter's been miserable." He reached for her hand. "You asked if I'd ever run from something because it hurt too much. Yes, I ran from grief, from love, from life. I'm done running, Naomi." "What are you saying?" "I'm saying I'm choosing you. Both of us are. If you'll have us." Hannah nodded frantically. "Please, Mama, please choose us back." Naomi looked at the two people standing in her doorway, broken, imperfect, offering her everything she'd lost and more. She'd spent 18 years convinced she didn't deserve a second chance. Maybe it was time to believe differently. 6 months later, the fifth floor of Park Industries gleamed under Naomi's watch. Not because she was cleaning it, but because she was overseeing an entire new initiative. Min had created a child care center in the building for employees' children, and Naomi ran it. She'd finally become the teacher she'd always dreamed of being. But the best part of her day was still 4 p.m. Hannah burst through the daycare doors, shouting, "Mama!" before launching herself into Naomi's arms. Behind her, Min appeared, loosening his tie, smiling that smile that made Naomi's heart skip. "How was school, baby girl?" Naomi asked, kissing Hannah's forehead. "I got a gold star, and I told everyone about our family meeting tonight." "Family meeting?" Min raised an eyebrow at Naomi. She grinned. "Hannah wants to discuss getting a puppy." "Absolutely not." "Daddy." Watching them bicker playfully, Naomi felt something she hadn't felt in 18 years. Whole. That evening in the penthouse that finally felt like a home, filled with Hannah's artwork, Naomi's books, Min's terrible coffee cups, they sat together. Hannah had convinced Min that a small dog was basically necessary for her development, and he'd caved embarrassingly fast. After Hannah went to bed, Min pulled Naomi onto the balcony overlooking Seoul. "I have something for you." He handed her a small box. Inside was a simple silver bracelet, engraved, "You chose to stay." Min. Tears blurred her vision. "You didn't have to love us," he whispered, fastening it around her wrist. You could have walked away when things got complicated, when my family judged you, when the whole situation was messy and illogical. He tilted her chin up. But you stayed. You chose Hana. You chose me. You chose us. You chose me first, she whispered back. Both of you, a broke, cleaner with nothing to offer but a broken heart and empty arms. Your arms aren't empty anymore. He was right. They were full of a daughter who called her mama, of a man who looked at her like she hung the moon, of a life she never imagined possible. I love you, Min said, and it sounded like the truth she'd been waiting her whole life to hear. I love you too. Inside, Hana had woken up and was watching them through the window, smiling. She looked up at the stars. Did you see, first mama? Second mama makes daddy happy. She makes me happy. She pressed her hand to the glass. Thank you for sending her to us. And somewhere in the universe, a mother's love transcended heaven itself, wrapping around the three souls who'd found each other in the most unlikely way. Because sometimes the family you choose chooses you right back. So here's my final question for you. What does family mean to you? Is it blood, or is it the people who choose to stay? Drop your thoughts below. I read every single comment. And if this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to hear it today.